Welcome to the Pop Cult Online Power Hour, the video podcast dedicated to the 10-year-old in all of us. And I'm your host, Rick Gordon. Join us on this special holiday edition of the Pop Cult Online as Malibu Bob Breethall and I discuss whatever we feel like discussing. And we'll be right back after these brief messages.
Are you wise to the difference in potato chips? It's the flavor, fresh, natural flavor. Wise potato chips, serve all through the holidays. Fun time, party time, anytime. Serve Wise potato chips. Merry Christmas, Wise potato chips.
Christmas is a time for closeness, and closeness is what Norelco razors are all about. The shiny new silver rotary razors in cord and rechargeable models with 36 blades, 9 closeness settings, and no gotchas. And the Ladybugs, the ladies' razors that really work. And the Ladybug Salon, a ladybug razor plus 11 grooming attachments. Norelco, even our name says Merry Christmas.
All right, now, how does a train go? Now, an ocean liner? Now then, how does your tricycle sound? I see. But how would you like your tricycle to sound? Well, you can make it roar with Mattel's terrific new Varoom hot rudder engine. Put it on a trike like this, or like this. You get your own special key. Start it like Dad's key starts his car. The remote control is up here where it belongs. Sounds like a real engine. Put it on a bike or almost anything that moves. Mattel's new Varoom hot rudder engine. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Myself in the center of the screen.
I've got a heating pad on my back.
I thought that was Santa's big bag of toys.
It's a big bag of pain relief. Have some kind of weird back spasm going on that just kicked up out of nowhere, so.
So it happens when you hang in a pole all in the freezing cold.
Yeah. Oh, so.
But I know you enjoy that.
No, I don't, but I enjoy the wonderful things that I have, so got to pay for it somehow.
That's true.
So, how's California?
It is balmy. It rained the other day.
Ooh, look at that. So, what's the, you should put a countdown timer or something like that on the website. You're down to what, like 3 issues now?
That one brings me down to 3 issues, and that one there brings me down to 2.
So I know.
So I only need the big 2 at this point. I need 27, which is the man in the anthill, and I need 44, which is the first wasp. So those are going to be the tough ones for me. Then I got this.
Oh, nice.
I realized outside of X-Men, because I was never really a huge X-Men collector. So I don't have anywhere near a complete X-Men run. I mean, I'm probably missing. Let me take a quick gander here. I mean, if I look at X-Men, I'm probably missing a good 40 books to complete X-Men. Maybe it's less.
Well, you probably started the X-Men the same time as I did.
10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 30, 40. I need 58 issues of X-Men.
Wow.
So, I'm anywhere near on X-Men. However, like all other Silver Age Marvel superheroes, I am down to like under 50 total books. Nice. And that's Tales of Suspense, Journey into Mystery, Tales to Astonish, Avengers, Fantastic Four, Strange Tales.
Very nice.
Right, I think that's everything, because I've got the complete run of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Oh, I need the first 6 issues of the Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Which are tough ones.
Well, in the meantime,
but then
this will ease your pain because I found this.
All right.
It's going in a pile of stuff that's headed your way probably tomorrow or the next day. Hey, what is that? Look at you.
I will tilt it so that the glare does not impede Stan's autograph here.
Oh, when did that happen? That's amazing. It's amazing fantasy. Number 15.
It's a 5.0 restored.
Mm-hmm.
It's got slight professional restorations. I like because it's got the yellow of the signature series obscures most of the purple label of Doom. But these are quite pricey and unrestored 5. You know, so I was able to get a 5 for 3 unrestored was going for.
Right. So can you tell where the restorations are?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it tells you. I mean, there's the staples have been replaced.
Mm-hmm.
There's a slight color touch, and there's the damning one that a lot of people don't like is the top and bottom edge are trimmed.
Oh, yeah. All right.
But it looks really nice.
Yeah, it does. So go get your hammer. Let's crack that bad boy open.
That one's staying in the slab.
So, years ago, when you and I were young lads, I don't know if you did, but I know what me and my brothers did around this time of year was to grab up the nearest Wish book, which was the big Fat Sears catalog, or the Montgomery Ward's catalog, or the J.C. Penney catalog, and just go through it page by page and circle what we wanted for Christmas. Did you guys do something similar?
Oh, yeah. I remember doing that.
It was, it was just, never really touched it any other time of year, maybe birthdays, but yeah, this time of year was a big time for that. And it struck me as odd because I think that's something that my kids have never done.
Well, I mean, now you have the internet, right? And the internet takes the place of this, because now people can go on the internet and do a similar exact same thing, right?
It's about
I don't know if they can make a list, I mean, but it's like you can find things that you want. I know, like my kids, I ask them, hey, you know, what do you want for Christmas? Go on Amazon and
make your
send me the links what you want, and they do. And then I buy those things, and frankly, Amazon is so advanced at this point that I will order, like, a couple of things I ordered on Sunday night, and they arrived Monday.
Yeah. Same thing happened here.
You know, it's just like, I don't know, they got them, like, sitting in a big pile just waiting to go out, you know.
They may have had an algorithm guessing what you would buy and just had it sitting nearby. I don't know if you can see behind me here, but there's a big old stack of Christmas stuff here, and a good chunk of it came from Amazon for just that reason. I know if I ordered it Sunday or Monday that it's either a day or 2 at the most. So we did get the Prime, so we get the free 2-day shipping, and it's a 2-day maximum. A lot of times it's the next day, which is amazing to me.
And I noticed that, like, on some things that I've been buying, it it tells me, hey, if you're not hung up on the 2-day shipping, you can get non-expedited shipping, and we'll give you $1 credit for MP3s on the site. So I've been doing, I mean, like, not now because Christmas is only a week away, but I was buying stuff around, the first week of December, and I just say, sure, I will take the non-expedited shipping. Instead of getting it on Wednesday, I'll get it next Monday, for instance, because it's still going to come in time for Christmas. And it would turn out that it would come on Thursday or Friday anyway, and I've probably got about $10 of MP3 credits on Amazon now.
How many comics do you buy on Amazon? I used to buy a lot of trades and collected editions and absolutes and things like that, but never single issues.
I'm not buying comics on Amazon. I mean, this is like, again, I'm buying like presents, or I buy movies. I mean, like on Thanksgiving, there was a lot of lightning deals and things like that, and I would buy Blu-rays. I would get like a Blu-ray for $6 or $8.
Nice.
I got like Steven for Christmas wanted a Poundo dice, and I'm sure he doesn't watch this, so he won't know. But it's like he wanted a Poundo dice, and they had it for $20 on Amazon. Just from ChessX, who makes the RPG dice. Yeah. And again, it came. I got some stuff for Janine. People want CDs, so I would get them CDs. People want, I don't know. For myself, I got some books. It's like if people want to buy me things, I have things on my wish list, and so I would just keep track of what, types of things. So like there's this book I've wanted for a while called Kirby, The Hand of Fire. It's like about Jack Kirby. It's like $50 or something. So it's just like I haven't wanted, but my mother-in-law wanted to buy me something for around that much. So it's like, okay, Janine, order this for me, get it sent, and then they can give that to me for Christmas. Lots of things like that. I just, if there's like a movie that I want, or that's a lot of things are movies and more of the hardcover type of things.
So your Amazon shopping is a lot of it's media driven. Movies, music, that type of thing, not so much everyday items.
Well, I mean, I have bought some everyday items. I bought I use these little Energizer under cabinet lighting. They're little LED light things that you screw a metal plate into the bottom of the cabinet, and then there's magnets on the top of this thing, so it sticks on there.
Oh, cool.
And it runs off of a couple of AAA batteries. And it lasts a long time because they're LED lights, so they don't take that much. In fact, I've got one on a shelf here with some statues.
I'm very interested in this.
So it's just this little doodad like this, and you turn it on, and it's really bright, blinding. So you can see on the back, it's got little magnets. It just snaps up on the thing, and when you turn it on, it makes quite a bright light. And I put it on shelves where I've got little statues or little figures or whatnot, and it lights them up nice.
Wow.
And they had these on Amazon. There's a couple of dealers. They'd be like a 2-pack of them were $20, so they're about $10 a piece.
That is a really good deal.
So I bought, I would buy several of these things from them when I needed, I don't know, just like, Scotch tape or something. Like I could drive to Staples and try to deal with them, or I could just go on Amazon and get 2-day Prime, and 2 days later it shows up on my doorstep.
Yeah, they're good like that. My printer was running low, and I had a choice. I could, run to Walmart and just get robbed, or I could go on Amazon and get the ink dirt cheap, and it'll be there in a day or two. So, it's good for stuff like that. I can't hear you.
If there's something you don't need immediately,
right?
It's the greatest thing. I love it.
Props to Amazon. I think, who do they use to deliver? UPS?
Yes. They absolutely don't use the U.S. Postal Service.
Not to rub salt in the wound, but I had to bring that up again.
So this is... Well, so as you may have guessed, this is what I was waiting for.
Uh-huh. Oh, man, can you imagine if that had come bent? Woo!
The guys who I bought it from, it was packed like bulletproof packaging. They had it in a really big box.
Mm-hmm.
So the CGC holder's in a plastic bag of its own. That was inside of one of those thick plastic UPS envelopes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was all taped. And then that was in another envelope with some boards. And then there was a box that was much larger than the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there were peanuts.
Wow.
And this was in the middle, within several layers of packaging. And then peanuts on top and peanuts all around the sides of it too. So it was kind of like suspended in the middle of this peanut thing, and it was all wrapped in plastic. So even if somebody had dropped the box, it would have still made it. So I was really happy. I mean, it was very bulletproof type of packaging. They did a really good job on packaging. And when I look at it was like, I think $75 for the postage on this thing.
Wow.
And for the actual service that was delivered, that was criminally overpriced. I mean, it took over 10 days for this 2-day registered priority package to come. So you may recall, it left on a Wednesday from Federal Way, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It got to Seattle Sunday. It left Seattle on Sunday, and you didn't hear anything again on it, right? We recorded on that following Wednesday, and there had not been an update. Thursday morning, I got a notice that it had made it to a sorting station in Los Angeles.
What happened? Did he hitchhike?
I don't know. So basically Sunday to Thursday, it went from Seattle to Los Angeles, and then it only took a day to go from Los Angeles to Mission Viejo. So it actually made it to my local post office. The USPS systems, the notification systems are terrible, because I went to work on Friday. I had not gotten any notice from them that it had moved out of Los Angeles. So I'm at work at about 11:30. I got an email because I had signed up for email notifications.
Mm-hmm.
So around 11:30, I got a notification that it was scanned in at my local post office at 8:30 that morning. So I called my local post office with the tracking number, and they're like, "Oh, it went out on a truck at like about 9 o'clock." And I'm like, "Don't! I hope it doesn't come to my." So I jumped in my car and I drove home. Because you had a sign for it, and nobody was at home.
Right.
So
and he just would have thrown it back in the bag, and it would have gone.
So I drove home. I got home around 12:15, and it came about 2.
No, that's not bad.
So, I mean, I just worked from home in the afternoon. I had my laptop, and I was just working from home that afternoon. I had a bunch of kind of mechanical stuff I had to do. I was just, on pins and needles waiting for this thing to come. And of course, last Friday it was raining. It was like the first day it's rained here. It's like rarely ever rains here, and it was raining on the day that it arrived.
Wow.
But it didn't get through to anything because of all the great packaging that they
Thank
did.
goodness.
So,
a little trouble moving.
so you guys provoked me into this. You and Tony, and Lenny too. All you guys with your amazing Fantasy 15s. I come to New York and it's like they must hand out some Amazing Fantasy 15 to every comic book collector in New York State or something, because
Of a certain
all
age,
you
yeah.
guys had one.
Once you're collecting for a certain amount of time, you hit a certain age, you get a certificate and the book.
Well, I didn't
this.
get mine.
This was always kind of neat. I don't know where this came from, but I just remember having these as a kid. I used to love Mad Magazine, but having the paperbacks was something extra special because it would, fit into your book bag and you could take it with you. But I think it's still being published to this day, but it's just not... It's not the same as it was. I think it's a little more adult. It's closer to National
Mad Magazine?
Lampoon. Yeah.
It is still published. I think it's bi-monthly now.
Yeah. The kids had subscriptions a couple of years back, but they kind of let it lapse. But I was more excited about getting it in the mail than they were, for nostalgic reasons. But it was a weird book. It was just very, very cynical and jaded, and not as fun as the old Mad Magazine used to be.
I always used to like the movie parodies.
That's
and the TV
how I
show
learned about
parodies.
most movies.
Yeah. And Sergio Aragonis, his Marginals, and
Great stuff. The late Don
Dave
Martin.
Berg. I mean, there were a lot of good stuff in Mad Magazine.
Now, all right, I'm going to ask you this because this is a weird question. The back cover, the fold in.
Yeah.
Did you ever fold it, or did you just kind of get it to where you could see it and then keep the rest of the book pristine?
I would fold it.
Okay.
I don't think I had any kind, because I didn't save any of my Mad Magazines. I mean, I saved my comics, but I don't have any of my Mad Magazines. I didn't save, and I don't know why, because I saved all my comics, and I had to have been reading them at the same time. I mean, It was... I guess I just didn't consider them the same thing as a comic, although they pretty much were.
I remember saving them, but I don't have them. So that just makes me wonder, at some point somewhere in my life they got tossed, or they went missing, or my mom threw them out. Who knows? But I do remember saving them, because the nice thing about Mad Magazine is it took you a while to read, because you couldn't really get everything. I mean, I would read it once, and then I'd read it again, and then you'd go back and read the letters pages, and then you'd go back and look at Sergio's stuff, and then, it could just take you weeks to really pour through this book, and that's what I loved about him, and that's why I held on to him and grabbed these paperbacks whenever I could.
Steve Urkel is looking at me funny, man. That creepy little doll disturbs me. I think Steve Urkel, just in the best of situations, is an acquired taste.
Yeah, well, I used to have a Pee Wee Herman that used to hang out with Urkel, but he went on the wayside. He's going to get sold at some point. He doesn't really fit in with the rest of the stuff here, so...
Okay, so I'm pulling something out here that...
what do you got there, pal?
This is something that, since you're talking about it...
Oh, what the hell? Look at that!
So this is the Mad Fold-In collection.
I never knew that even existed. Don't even tell me it's just nothing but the fold-ins.
It's nothing but the fold-ins. And basically, they've got on each page They've got, on one side, they've got the full-size thing, and then the other side, they've got the picture of what it looks like folded in. And they've got all the text, and, you know, it goes from 1964 to 2010.
That's pretty cool.
So, I got this. I didn't pay that much for it. I got it on Amazon or someplace. The original price on this is like $125. Cheap, it says. Cheap. You know, Mad Magazine always said that, right? And I think I paid like $30 for it.
Not bad.
It was like deeply discounted. So I was like, okay, I liked the Mad fold-ins when they were coming out. I'll spring $30 for a collection of every single dropping stuff. Every single Mad fold-in ever made.
The lighter side of book buying. So I noticed in your little man cave there, I don't see any Christmas decorations.
Oh, well, I have got comic Christmas decorations. I'm going to free this
Hoping you would bring
here.
that up. It's the highlight of the year.
See my spinner rack?
Yep.
There's ornaments on it, and all the comics on it are Christmas cover comics.
And for those of you who are new to the show, Bob does this every year, and it is the highlight of the Christmas season as far as comic collectors go.
So I'm doing on my Facebook page for Comic Spectrum, I've been counting down my top 12 favorite Christmas comic covers each day. And so I think I did number 7 today. And I will be doing, when I'm done on Christmas Eve, I'll put up a blog that's got all 12. And I talk a little bit about what I like on each one. And today's was Sergio Aragonis. He did a Gru one for Marvel Age magazine. Remember Marvel Age?
Yeah, it was a good book.
Here it is. This was today's. So Gru is looking for these guys, and all the guys are hiding in this tree. My comment is that good thing. Now, you ever read Gru?
I've read it a little bit. I've got maybe a handful of issues. I just, for whatever reason, I couldn't get into it.
So my comment is only meaningful to people who read Gru, but I said, good thing they don't have any cheese dip, or Ruferto would be able to help him sniff them out. Gru is an aficionado of cheese dip.
Nice. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite Christmas comic story?
I like Christmas for Shacktown. I do not have that actual original comic, but I've read it a number of times reprinted. I mean, I don't have the original. I mean, I've read it. Superhero-wise, there was a Batman one, I think that Frank Miller did. It was pretty good.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there one? Remember the book, the Batman Family, that dollar book? I thought there was a Christmas story in that with. Oh boy, this is something with him in Crime Alley. I don't know if that was a Christmas story, but it feels like it should have been. Maybe it was Christmas in Crime Alley. I'm not sure. Don Newton and Dan Atkins.
I know that there was a Superman one also where he would like Anna or letters to Superman, and he would answer people's wishes at Christmas time or something.
Now, let me pick your brain. There's a story. It may have been in a Spectacular. It was, I think, the second or third appearance of Jon Stewart as the Green Lantern. Hal Jordan slips in the shower, knocks himself out, and the ring goes flying out and finds John. I think that was a Christmas story, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
I do not remember.
That was the first time I saw Jon Stewart, and it was, it had to be at least 73 or 74, so... So
that ring wasn't doing too good to protect him. It'll automatically go on to keep him from suffocating in space, but it won't catch him to keep him from braining himself in the shower.
It just literally slipped in the shower.
Poor slob could have killed himself.
Knocked himself out, and the ring just like popped right off of his finger and just like flew around.
It was on him too, so that's bad. It was charged and on him, and it just let him hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. So that means that the ring actually wanted to go hang out with Jon Stewart.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't like Hal. Who knows? He was kind of a square.
You're like taking a shower, and you're appropriately against your man bits, without the benefit of a loofah mitt or anything, and I don't like it. I am a sentient ring after all. I am going to go find Jon Stewart.
You know what? I didn't think of it that way, but that's probably what it was. You know what it is? It's probably the Guardians are all watching these rings, and the one guy just probably got all skeeved out. He's like, hey, whoa.
That's when they decided to give a ring to Katma Tuib.
Look at that. She's red all over.
Right. Be like a Christmas thing. She could put on a white hat and...
oh, wow. Don't think I have one. But let me look. Ooh. I'm looking at my magazine rack because on the top bottom shelf there's all my Treasury editions. And Marvel always had the holiday Treasury editions that were kind of neat.
Yeah.
But I never... I saw the ads for them, but I never got any. Ah, I'm so jealous. Holiday grab bag, that's it.
So there's that one. And there is that one.
Ah.
And there's one other that I'm not going to show because it's one of my favorite ones and it has not yet been revealed in my countdown.
Okay. Can you open one of those and tell us what stories are in it?
Sure. This was the first one. I always pull out my Christmas comics at Christmas time of year and have them around the room. That's basically my Christmas decorations are in the comic room, or
that's a good idea.
Comic themed. And I don't put all the comic themed comics back in long boxes. I have a special box that's just Christmas comics.
Oh, cool.
And I just keep that basically with the Christmas decoration. The first story is I believe it's from Marvel Team Up. It's Man Christmas.
I remember that. Yeah.
The second story is the Daredevil Submariner crossover, and I'm not exactly sure what the Christmas connection is in this one.
I don't remember that story at all.
This is Daredevil number 4, I think, or 7. I'm not seeing any Christmas trees or anything going on here, so not exactly catching the connection here. Now the next one is, I remember this one. It's a Black Widow story, and To All a Good Night. Gene Colan art.
Where was that? What was that from?
You know, they're not attributing these stories in here, so I'm not exactly sure.
So maybe the Black Widow was a backup feature for Daredevil?
Yeah, it might have been. But it's, Roy Thomas wrote it, Gene Colan art, Bill Everett inks.
Wow.
And it's not a long story. So maybe it was from...
maybe it's from a giant
Astonishing.
size?
So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pager. No, she was in Astonishing Tales, right?
Oh, that's right.
And then another one, here is the Hulk versus the Thing.
I remember.
So this one is, again, not particularly Christmassy, except in that the Hulk is green.
Was that their first meeting?
I think so, because then that's followed directly with the Avenger. You know what? I don't think so, because it's got 2 stories here, so I think it's the issues 24 and 25.
Okay.
Because it got the Avengers in the second one. So that was FF number 24 and 20. Oh, they're right in the back here. Never mind. So it shows. So it's Marvel Team Up number 1. It's Daredevil number 7. It is FF 25 and 26, actually. And that is the Black Widow story from Amazing Adventures, not Astonishing Tales.
Amazing. I keep forgetting about that book.
5. Okay. Amazing Adventures number 5.
Now, what was the deal with that book? Amazing Adventures.
Well, it was the Inhumans in half and the Black Widow in half.
Okay, all right.
At first. I believe it became the Beast for a while, and then it became Killraven, right? War of the Worlds.
So what book did Khazar come in? That's a beautiful cover. I love that.
But then the back. It's the reverse view. I love that.
Get to see Hulk's butt.
Khazar, I believe, was in Astonishing Tales.
Okay.
He was in Astonishing and then gave way to Deathlock. So that is the giant holiday grab bag. That was a separate one. Then this one is part of the... let's take a quick look here. This one's part of the Marvel Treasury Edition numbering.
Uh-huh.
So this one... Treasury Edition number 13.
Treasury Edition's ever been collected?
Do not know.
I would love to see a giant...
But they were all reprints too, so, I
like that.
Or mostly. But this is a wraparound cover, right?
Yeah. Look at that. Look at Goliath.
Now this one has got... on the back, they've got Hulk and Silver Surfer from Tales to Astonish 93, got Avengers 58, Marvel Team Up number 6, and Daredevil number 86. So the and then they got an FF, so FF versus the Avengers. So you got a snowball fight going on here. It's holiday-ish. I kind of question how, Johnny Storm can be his legs are on fire and he's just holding an arms full of snowballs, helling himself with with his legs. And they're having a big snowball fight. This was a simpler time.
Yep. Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Not seeing much of a Christmas connection in this Avengers issue.
Maybe it's just winter themed stories.
It is the this is the even an android can cry issue.
Did that happen during the holidays?
It is winter time. There's some snow.
Okay. I'm wondering if that's the scene we're going to see in Age of Ultron.
You got Santa going on there. See him?
Oh.
His kettle, begging for money. Big deadbeat. Oh, and this, you got a Christmas tree in here, and saying Merry Christmas to the Hulk.
It's the Defenders.
Yeah. Oh, they give the Hulk a present.
Oh, what did they give him?
What in the world is that?
The evil eye?
Looks like oven mitts. Oh.
Yeah, what they should have given him was a pair of Hulk hands.
Yeah. This Daredevil that's reprinted in here is the first issue of Daredevil I ever bought.
Really?
Number 86. It's when he was in San Francisco with the Black Widow.
Yeah.
And it has the Ox as the bad guy.
My first DD was him and Black Widow in San Francisco with Angar, the Screamer.
I remember Angar, the Screamer.
Yeah, just some angry hippie.
I'd have to look. It's almost like they've got some joining sequences here where they've got like some pages that are joining these stories together that are not part of the thing, because you got the end of the Daredevil story here, right? And that's Gene Colan,
right? And
then all of a sudden you've got, this is absolutely not Gene Colan art, and it's like the Champions, because you got the Black Widow and Johnny Blaze, and then Hercules, and all these little guys wandering in. I don't know if they just like reprinted a random page out of an issue of the Champions or what, but there appear to be pages in here that are not directly part of the other stories, because that's just the last 2 pages of that issue, so it's not, it's just
we need 2 more. We need 2 more pages. Anything.
Well, I mean, it's like, there's snow on it. Throw it in there.
No, nothing from Son of Satan. It's the holidays.
Yeah. Well, equal time for all religions. The Church of Satan, they won a lawsuit in Florida that, the state of Florida had all these displays at the Capitol, and, they said, oh, well, it's, equal rights to religion, so then the churches, just for the holidays, so the Church of Satan sued the state to put up some kind of display for the holidays, something like Beelzebub or something.
Upside down Christmas tree.
That's the kind of thing that entertains me. I don't know why.
I would be more entertained if they collected the Treasury editions. That would be so awesome to have a gigantic, oversized book that you couldn't do anything with.
Well, I mean, they do that now. With other things. I mean, you wouldn't have to directly do the Treasury editions. They could just do a big holiday book where they would just, gather up some of these stories and reprint them in like the, kind of oversized, Marvel doesn't really have. I mean, their omnibus editions that Marvel has are not all that large. You know, like the
Right.
absolute editions from DC are
those are
bigger.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Marvel has something called the Adamantium edition,
Ooh, haven't heard of that. What is that?
which are a very they're almost like twice as thick as an absolute. They just announced that they're going to do a Jack Kirby Adamantium issue that's supposed to be all the best Jack Kirby sometime March or April of 2015.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait for the Gene Colan Adamantium edition.
Yeah, well, they've had, they've had a Wolverine one, obviously. I think that might have been the first. That's where they got the name, right?
Mm.
And they've done a couple others. Let me take a quick look at Amazon, and I'll do a search on Adamantium edition, see what it tells me.
Back to Amazon.
I use them a lot just to look for things like, since they have that Amazon marketplace, they'll have stuff even that's not in print. You can kind of find out what exists. Okay, the Adamantium, they call them the Adamantium Collection.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. Well, that's interesting. So they have an X-Men Adamantium Collection, a Wolverine Adamantium Collection, Marvel's, and then they've got a Platinum Edition, which I think is similar.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're only calling them Adamantium Editions if they're X-Men related.
Okay.
And they're also in a slipcase, kind of like an Absolute.
Right.
So it looks like the retail on these things is $200.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Exactly.
How many pages?
Let's take a quick look. Wolverine, the Adamantium Collection.
Better be 500.
720 pages.
All right.
13 by 20 inches.
Okay.
3.6 inches thick. 19.4 pounds.
That's a book.
It's like, wow. Okay. It comes with a hernia belt for the lifting thereof. The X-Men Adamantium Collection is all 720 pages. Same thing, 13 by 20 inches, 19.4 pounds. And then they have a Marvel's, the Alex Ross, Kurt Busiek thing, and that's the Platinum Edition. And Ultra 512 pages, but it's saying 12.8 by 19.8 inches, 14.9 pounds.
So, is that about full size, you think, for a comic page? Or close to it?
Yeah, I mean, almost maybe even a little bigger, because normal original art is 11 by 17.
Okay.
So, that's pretty much full-on size. 12 by... I'm assuming that if it's, 13 by 20, you've got borders, around it. So it's probably full-on original size on the art. I mean, that's a good-sized book.
Yeah, that makes the Alex Ross book a little more tasty.
So, okay, Marvel's Platinum Edition, they've got it for $131.48. Cheap.
That's not bad. I'd pay that, I think.
I mean, 512 pages, slip-cased. I mean, I've got so many editions of... Well, I guess it's Kingdom Come that I've got a zillion editions of. I don't have many editions of Marvels. Kingdom Come I've got the original comics. I've got the graffiti hardcover
Yep.
with the extra volume. I've got a soft cover trade paperback. I've got an absolute edition. I've got a novelization, and I've got the audio book of
Nice.
it. So it's like Kingdom Come, yay! Like they put out a different edition of that, I buy it.
And hopefully I'm getting the T-shirt for Christmas, because I did put that on my wish list, the Superman Kingdom Come version, which is something you don't really see out there.
Cool. So when I was looking at this, the other thing that came up is apparently there's a X-Men Days of Future Past Amazon exclusive edition that's got a Magneto helmet that comes with it. It's apparently like a little tiny Magneto helmet. It's not because they show it sitting next to the Blu-ray. It's about as high as a Blu-ray case, so that would make it, not that.
So it wouldn't fit on the Vision?
Like yeah. Looks like it would be about that size. It's bigger. Well, I mean, it's about the size of that whole Vision, right?
Right. All right.
And then they've got the X-Men Adamantium Blu-ray collection.
Ooh.
That appears to have a Wolverine hand with claws coming out of it
Oh, that's nice for the kids.
that comes along with it. It's kind of hard to... I guess it's about twice as high as the Blu-ray case, so...
So little Johnny's running through the house when he fell down.
It's really kind of weird. I mean, you see, okay, so here it is. There's 10 new for 161, up for about 161, and then one guy is selling it for $1.
How much?
160. It's like 1596.65.
That idiot.
And I'm like, what? Is he like? Sometimes you just see like a really crazy one that I think somebody puts it up on the off chance that somebody not knowing any better would just buy it, and then.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right, because I started getting this book called the History of Comics by Les Daniels, and it's volumized, and I'm missing one or two volumes, and I found one. Because he breaks it up into genres like romance and horror and crime stories. And I was missing one of the books, and the only place I ever found it was on Amazon, but the idiot that has it there wanted over $200. And it's a $20 book, if that. It retail for $20. So, yeah, you're right. I think people get a little crazy when they get on there, thinking they've got something that's more valuable than it really is.
Or they're just like, again, they know how much it's worth, and they're just hoping that some doofus will, come money at them.
Becca showed me something on eBay the other day. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was just the same thing. It was just some little tchotchke that should sell for $5 that somebody had for like $5,000, and it was such an odd number that it couldn't be a typo. It was just insane. Like, you know what? I'm going to take this little Linus figure, if everybody can see that. I'm going to put this on eBay for $700, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. People will be watching it. The gold-plated Linus.
Yeah, maybe I'll just... Oh, look, it's signed by Charles Schultz on the back.
Call it the Maltese Linus.
The Maltese Linus. It's filled with diamonds and gold.
You can keep an eye out for me as you're prowling these yard sales and estate sales.
Good thing you reminded me. So, we had planned on me videotaping the yard sales from last week.
That's right.
So I got to the first one. It was a disaster. It was just I walked out angry. It's like, you should have even called this an estate sale. This is a garage sale, and it's a terrible one at that. So shame on you people. Shame on you. So that's when I remember. Oh, you know what? The next one should be good. I'm gonna tape that one. I get to the next one. That one was horrible. I don't know.
If you ever find any Doc Savage stuff. I don't know if you buy Doc Savage stuff.
Yes,
Have you ever seen Doc Savage? I collect Doc Savage stuff.
I wish I had known that, because I went to one sale and I bought maybe 60, 70 paperbacks.
I have all the paperbacks.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not interested in Doc Savage paperbacks. But
So
if you
you're
ever
looking
find
for like the old pulps and
pulps or toys, or
I'll keep my eye open. I've never seen anything. The only thing I've seen are the books.
Yeah.
Huh. And what else?
I pretty much bought all those off the. Well, I got a lot of them out of used bookstores. When I started reading them, they were up to in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
In Bantam reprint, there's a little number on each one. Because there were 181 Doc Savage.
Holy shit.
Pulps, So I started in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
And every month or so they would put another one out, and I would buy the new one, and then I would prowl the local used bookshops, and I bought all the old ones too. I mean, there were like probably 4 or 5 used bookstores I would haunt until I found all of them. So I ended up with all the paperbacks.
I never saw the comic book until, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. I had heard about it. I mean, the house ads that they had. I never read the books until I bought an issue of The Avenger that I think it was a 4-issue. It was a short run on DC by the same writer. And they always made from the writer of Doc Savage, and it's like, what is this Doc Savage they keep talking about?
Right.
So
that was that name. That was a house name that they used at the. I don't know if you know on pulps.
No.
So like Street and Smith, who did the pulps for the Shadow and Avenger and Doc Savage and all that, they had a house name that they would publish these under. So Doc Savage, the house name was Kenneth Robeson.
Oh, okay.
And there is no Kenneth Robeson. The guy who created Doc Savage, his name is Lester Dent. And he actually wrote the majority of them, but there were 3 or 4 other guys who wrote Doc Savage pulps, and they just published them all as Bob, just so there'd be consistency. And then when they did the Avenger stuff, it was some completely other dude that did those, but they used by the guy, by the fake name, that created Doc Savage.
I really liked the Avenger, and I was really, I still have the issue, and the thing that turned me off to it, because I think it was a Joe Kubert cover, might have been issue 1, if I'm not mistaken, but after that, I started seeing Kirby covers, and I just, at that point, I was just not a Kirby fan, and it just kind of, turned me off to the whole thing.
It was a short run. The Shadow series that was out in the 70s by
Maluda? Oof. Good stuff.
Yeah, I got this one. I think I showed this before, but this is my latest pulp that I got.
Nice.
This is from later in the run. This is 1948.
Beautiful.
This is when they were calling it Doc Savage Science Detective. But it's funny. It's like, let me see if I can open this without actually separating the cover, because it's kind of tenuously on there. But look at, you got Bing Crosby.
Wow. Hope and Crosby.
Cover.
Nice.
But these are fun. I really like the Doc Savage stories. I mean, Doc is, he's a, kind of Batman without the costume. You know, I mean, he is peak of human perfection, that he trained himself to be the way he is, and he went and he got his doctorate degrees in multiple disciplines, so he actually is a doctor, you know. And he is just smart, and he's physically perfect. You know, he does all these exercises every day and mental exercises, all kinds of things. I mean, it's just, I can see that this is a character that, you know, if you want your kid to look up to Doc Savage, you know, he's not, except for that doing brain operations on criminal part. That is the one part about Doc Savage that's a little shady. Well, he is an actual physician, doctorate in other disciplines. He determined that there is a criminals have something physically wrong with their brain, so when he would capture criminals, he would bring them to his upstate New York hospital. He would do these brain surgeries on these guys to remove their criminal tendencies.
Wow.
Rehabilitate them and then release them back out into society as productive members of society.
Man, I gotta read
civil rights implications are mind-boggling.
What did you think of the comics?
The Doc Savage comics from Marvel, the regular comic books, they were adaptations of books.
Ross Andrew Hart, right?
The magazine, the black and white Doc Savage magazine, was quite good.
What are you talking about? What magazine?
Doc Savage, you know, when they, you know, black and white Marvel magazines, right? Yeah. So there was a Doc Savage magazine.
Wow.
That ran 8 issues, and that had some really great stories in it. Dave Zuniga doing art in there, and Jerry Conway writing some of them, and that was good stuff. The DC run I didn't care for it. I will pull up short of saying it was terrible, because I'm sure there was somebody who liked it.
When was the DC run?
The problem a lot of guys have with Doc Savage is they totally changed the premise on the character, and they, you know, like the first DC series, they kind of moved it forward. I think it was done in the 80s. So they set it in the 80s, and it was Doc Savage's son instead of Doc Savage.
Oh my God, it's all coming back to me. You're right. Holy crap.
You want to do Doc Savage, you just do it as a period piece in the 30s or 40s, and just have Doc Savage, you know, being Doc Savage. I mean, there's plenty of stories you can tell with Doc Savage. Millennium had some okay ones. Dark Horse did a couple of good Doc Savage series. They did one that was a crossover between Doc and the Shadow that was pretty good. Gold Key did 1 issue of Doc Savage.
Wow.
In the 60s. There was a Doc Savage comic in the late 40s or 50s that I don't have any issues of, and I've never even seen a reprint of anything there. So I don't know how good that is. I just know that it existed. I have never collected any of them. I mean, I've never really seen them. Dynamite recently did that each issue they move forward a little bit in time. So they started in the 30s, and then they did an issue 50s, and then one in the 60s, and they're kind of moving forward in time, and kind of had a through story. And I thought that a lot of real Doc Savage purists didn't like that, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. That's that cover that I've got. You know, the Alex Ross Doc Savage cover is from that series. That Dynamite series.
Wow, I didn't know that they continued. Yeah, when you mentioned the DC one with the sun, I must have blocked it out because once you mentioned it all came flooding back, and
it wasn't something that I enjoyed particularly. They did another one that was in the first wave where they tried to bring back. They had the Shadow, the Spirit. They had the Spirit, Batman, the Avenger, and they just did the series. And I think the Avenger was like a backup in several of the own book, and Batman was crossing over with them. But DC, I was not a big fan of what DC did with the character. Mm-hmm. I would always check it out, and I would always have high hopes. I liked the covers, like DC, especially the first wave one. J.G. Jones did a lot of the covers.
Yeah, those were good.
Covers. Really nice. But the insides, not so much.
It's almost like an old 60s gold key book.
Yeah. Kind of.
Suckered in by the cover, and then you get inside, and it's like, oh boy. Oh boy. Well, look at that. It's about that time. Let's talk about a website where we can all go to get more information about what we've talked about.
Comic Spectrum. I will be putting up a blog depending on when you get. Let me know. I mean, I'm going to try to get a blog about my quest for Amazing Fantasy 15. And I'll talk a little bit about Made and the CGC board. Very horrifying place for the uninitiated. Well, I was just trying to educate myself about buying one of these things because I have never really bought an expensive comic. Mm-hmm. And it's like a world unto itself, and a lot of the people there are very, let's say, snobby.
Wow. Yeah.
And if you could imagine that, some real snooty people who think they're better than other people in the collecting field, right? Never heard of such a thing. Oh. I think each subgenre I found like hardcore original art places. There's little cliques of people who are like that there as well. Mm-hmm. People who collect high-end CGC books or got all kinds of their own terminology for stuff. And if you come in and you're asking questions that they think that you should know, they're not pleasant.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I'll talk about, I'm not going to name names or anything, but I will talk about the process I went through, because I did a lot of research on buying this, because it's not a cheap book, and it's, I wanted to make sure I was making an informed decision on it, because it was just completing my Spider-Man run. So I'll be putting up that, and then
let's dedicate the next episode to that entire process, start to finish. We'll start with your New York ribbing, there we go. All the way till your horror story with the Postal Service.
So then I'll have my Christmas stuff up, like I said. Oh, and by the way, well, it'll probably be too late by the time people see this one, but for you, I have been putting up, Comixology has been doing their 12 days of Christmas with a different free digital comic every day.
Yeah, I noticed that, yes.
So I've been posting about those every morning as I see which one's coming. They've been putting up some good ones. Mm-hmm. Today's was Little Nemo and Slumberland. Was today's? Or was that? It's been. They've been putting up some good books.
Well, I did a different workflow for the production of the podcast, so this episode should be up sometime by the middle of the day tomorrow, if all things go well internet-wise. We've had some issues, so... But everything is prepped and the intros are done. It's just a matter of dropping a video in, processing, and uploading. So, want to get this one out quick so we can catch up.
Yeah.
So,
I will probably do my blog on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And the good news is my muscle relaxer is finally starting to kick in. My back spasms are going away. That was just a joke, kids. All right.
What kind of Christmas movie are you going to watch this weekend?
Well, what we like to do is we like to see what's new in terms of Christmas movies. So we'll go out and check the red box and see what's new Christmassy. But there's a handful of regular Christmas movies we like to watch. Elf is the big one, and personally, I'm gonna watch Iron Man 3 again because that is a Christmas movie. People don't realize it, but it is. But I'll be talking to you before Christmas, so...
I'm off next week, so the company's having a shutdown again for Christmas week. So after tomorrow, I'm off for 9 days.
No, maybe we can squeeze in one more episode before the Christmas holiday hits. All right. Sounds like a plan. Then we can talk about other stuff, too. All right.
Very good.
Good night, buddy.
See ya.